ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to episode number 10, race 11 of our F1 MyTeam 2021 career mode. And today we've got the Dutch Grand Prix, Zandvoort. Not my best of tracks. Middle sector, absolutely. The AI absolutely destroy me. And yeah, I struggle around here, but let's just see if we can do damage limitation, come away with, you know, just a race finish, to be honest. A race finish would be nice. I haven't finished a race at Zandvoort ever. So, should we say the hopes aren't very high? Let's try our best. As you can see, I have moved the subscribe button into the bottom left-hand corner today. So, it's finally moved. And we jump straight forward here into Q1, where we set a 1:11.7 on our first lap. And then a 1:11.4 on our second lap. And then our third lap at 1:11.2. So we're getting faster and faster. Now we're on lap 4 or lap 5. I think we had a little lap that was a bit slower. Now we're coming around the final corner to set what is going to be our fastest lap of the session, which was 1:10.11. I've just realised what I was saying. 1:10.7, which is enough for P21. Not fantastic. But we go across to Croft.
For years, the passionate Dutch fans have been easy to find trackside at races across Europe and throughout the world. Now, at long last, they have a Grand Prix to call their own. It's a warm welcome once again to all of our viewers in the Netherlands and around the globe as we get underway for the Dutch Grand Prix. Zandvoort circuit, 14 corners, 10 to the right and 4 to the left, with plenty of steep camber and elevation changes to keep our drivers on their toes throughout a 2.6-mile lap. Anthony Davidson joins me once again in the commentary box, and it's fantastic to have you with us here today, but I'm curious, as a man with experience out on the track, how do you stop those pre-race nerves from becoming overwhelming when you're lining up on the grid?
Well, from the moment qualifying's over, you start to feel the adrenaline in your body build up and the buzz in your stomach as you anticipate the run down into turn 1. It's all a bit like going into battle, and the unknown situation makes you nervous. Those pre-race nerves are a good thing. The day you don't have them means that you don't care anymore. And of course, you have to make sure that all the procedures are second nature to you, so that they're not taking up too much of your capacity.
With the race minutes away from starting, here's what today's grid rundown looks like. Good job yesterday from Valtteri Bottas. The Finn starts from pole position, and it's Lewis Hamilton alongside. Moving on to the rest of the grid, we have Norris, Verstappen, Daniel Ricciardo, and Leclerc, Gasly, Sainz, Tsunoda, and Sergio Perez. They've taken a grid penalty. Vettel, Fernando Alonso, Lance Stroll and Raikkonen, Giovinazzi, Mick Schumacher, Robert Schwartzman and Nikita Mazepin, Russell, Baxter, Latifi and Esteban Ocon rounds off the grid. And with preparations almost complete, let's head down to the track.
So P20 on the grid as we gear up to the 5 red lights. And it's go, go, go here for the Dutch Grand Prix around Zandvoort. Fingers crossed we can get an okay start. We do drop back a little bit. Nikita Mazepin diving down our inside, and we're also trying to follow him around. We're up into P18 again, down to P19. It's one of those starts where you just want to stay out of trouble, but try and make up as many positions as you can. P18 right now. I don't know why a game with this has recorded during this, but we're just trying our very best. We're still in P18. We've got George Russell all over the back of us, trying to just stay in front of him throughout this windy section. Very quick flowing section of the track. We run slightly wide, lose the back end and come across in front of George Russell. We've had contact and we've ended up with side pod damage. So we've got side pod damage now for the rest of the race, and we've dropped back to P22 as well as a result of the spin and the little collision with George Russell. Not very good at all. Russell somehow escaped without any damage at all, so he carries on in P19. Now, lap 2, end of lap 2, we're going to see if we can have a go at Nicholas Latifi, who's just in front of us in the Williams car. We're struggling with our damage and we dive down the inside into turn 1 and we get up into P21. Back to where we started. Now let's see if we can push ahead and gain on Ocon, Russell and Schumacher. Now it's going to be a struggle because we have to also break Latifi, but with this side pod damage, we're just finding so so little grip, so little car just control. We've got no feel in the car. And as you can see here, on lap 7, still not close. Coming to the end of lap 8, we're just about within a second now of Ocon, but we lose all of that in the middle sector. He just pulls away again. As you can see here, we just about get DRS, but then coming into the end of the middle sector to the start of the third sector, he just slowly gaps us due to just lack of downforce, I think, lack of aero. Our car just struggles, but at the moment, still within DRS detection zone. We're just trying to ride the curve, just to give ourselves a little bit extra straight line there, just to give a bit more power down the straight. We nearly lose the back end, but we are absolutely on it right now. Can we catch Ocon, who is our rival, may I add? But right now, not close enough to make a move. So we're just going to sit behind him and see if we can assess the situation and have a go. Maybe even go for the undercut in the pit stop. Very slow into this corner. Russell is holding him up. Maybe Russell has a slight bit of damage on the contact. Might not be much, but yeah, he is holding him up a little bit, but then he is keeping up with Schumacher, so I don't know, maybe he got lucky. A little bit too much on the inside there, just about get away with it though. This is what I mean, look at the time we lose the middle sector. We just absolutely lose a lot of time now to the cars in front. This is why I left it in this lap. It's just awful. But Fernando Alonso is out of the Grand Prix. He has retired, unfortunately for him, just up the road. But now we go to start of lap 11, end of lap 10. We're getting closer. We got DRS activated now. One thing we got to be careful about is there will be lack of downforce now due to being in the dirty air of Ocon. So we need to make sure we just drive a little bit smarter. As you can see there, losing the back end already. Haven't taken the warning already. We're trying to have a go on the little cutback, but we're not using any ERS down this straight because we do have an MG UK failure as well, which is affecting our deployment. So we can't really use too much because it doesn't come back. So we're just trying our very best to stay with him. And here we can go, aeroplane shot to show the gap. We're not too far behind him. Well, we got wide. We're on the gravel. We've crashed. We're out. And Nicholas Latifi's hit us as well. We've taken ourselves out. And for good measure, Nicholas Latifi with us. We're both out of the Grand Prix. Our mistake. There's not a lot we can do. We just made a silly little error. And it's caused us to retire from the Grand Prix. But you can see Bottas wins.
Well, I think it was clear what the main contributing factor out on the track was today: speed. I know it sounds like an obvious thing to say, Crofty, but fast cars win races, and we saw that today with our winner.
So after a magnificent race, we can now see the drivers making their way to the podium. Once again, it's the Silver Arrows who take top spot, a well-earned victory for Mercedes.
Bottas wins the Grand Prix with Hamilton P2, and I believe that was a Red Bull in P3. Yes, it was. Max
Verstappen affects the Drivers' Championship. Well, the gap at the top of the championship has been cut down after a difficult race today for our championship leader. Now, let's discuss, Ant. Who would you say is a contender for Driver of the Day?
Let's give it to Esteban Ocon. That was a commanding performance today. Very impressive indeed.
It's time to check out the constructors' standings. Mercedes continue to extend their lead. I'm equal parts exhausted and elated with this weekend of Formula One. Be sure to join us for the next one.
Now, we're just going to nip across now to have a quick look at the standings. You can see we're in P14 with 5 points, and as a team, we're still in 8th place there with 5 points, 10 behind Alpine. But very disappointing weekend for ourselves. We wasn't expecting too much because it's not a track we go well at, but it's unfortunate, and a little mistake cost us to retire from the Grand Prix. But we go up to 11 acclaim, which could be very important if we decide that we're going to switch driver. I'm not sure yet. I haven't decided what I want to do, but we're going to go into the next episode with an open mind. Schwartzman might remain here, or we might switch for a new driver. You guys won't know. I won't know until the next episode either, because I haven't decided. But there won't be an episode on Wednesday. There'll be an FSM First League race. But then the next episode for this will be Thursday after this one. So I hope you've enjoyed. I've been Chris Travel, and I'll see you.